report back to this Honorable House.
And once again, we have a motion about the separation of bereaved mothers and mothers with newborn babies. Bwana Speaker, I gave the notice this morning, and I'm sure that the members went through it, and I'm going right to the points that I want to give to these people. Mr. Speaker, sir, anytime a lady gets married, the next thing that we expect is that family to expand by having children. And we know very well, sometimes ladies suffer in silence, because when a mother gets pregnant, we start talking to our newborns even before they are born. The bonding between the mother and the newborn is so big that we imagine that these little children, the newborns, the infants in our stomachs and in our womb, Bwana Speaker, ningependa kusema ya kwamba wakati mwingine wa mama tunalilia ndani machozi ambayo hayatoki nje. Maana wakati unaona mama kwa mapenzi ya Mwenyezi Mungu amekuwa mjamzito na amepata nafasi ya kulea hiyo mimba kwa miezi 9, anarudi anaenda hospitali na anapata mtoto wake either kwa njia ya kupasuliwa ama kwa njia nzuri. And all of a sudden, yule mtoto anaaga ama anapata ile alama wakunga wanaita stillbirth. Na wakati ambapo huyo mama anajifungua, katika vyumba za kupumzikia wale wa mama ambao wamejifungua watoto, tunaona ya kwamba wale ambao wamejifungua watoto wako hai na wale ambao watoto wao by bad luck wamepumzika, wanawekwa kwa room moja. Unfortunately, yule mama anakuwa na uchungu sana ndani ya moyo wake, kwa sababu anaona huyu mama mwingine ananyonyesha mtoto lakini wake hayuko. Na huo uchungu unaenda ndani hivi kwamba akiona ule mtoto analia, anakumbuka mtoto wake yule ambaye amekufa. Mimi ningependa tu kusema hivi. Wakati mwingine tunaenda to an extent ya kuwa huyo mama ni kupasuliwa amepasuliwa. Kwa hivyo anaponyesha kidonda na pia mtoto ameaga. Kwa hivyo anakuwa na uchungu mara mbili. Hawa wamama wangehitaji kuwekwa kwa room ambayo ni kando kabisa, ili waweze kupata mtu ambaye ataweza kuwazungumzia, the counselors, kwa sababu ya uchungu ambao wanapitia. Mawazo ya huyo mama kuanzia wakati alishika ujamzito, alijua ya kwamba siku moja atashika mtoto wake na atanyonyesha. Lakini hakukuenda hivyo. Wakati mwingine tunaona mama kama ni watu ambao wana nguvu nyingi sana. Lakini wakati inafika ni kwamba amempoteza mtoto, inakuwa ni uchungu mwingi. Na inhali hata akitoka nyumbani kwake, siku hizi watoto wale tuko nao ni watoto werevu sana. Wakati wameona mama amebeba ujauzito, wana expect mama atarudi na mtoto nyumbani. Na hata anashindwa, watoto wangu nitaenda kuambia nini kwa sababu ya yale ambayo yametendeka. Mimi I am a witness, kwa sababu wakati nilienda kumpata mtoto wangu, tulikaa nyumba moja na mama ambaye alikuwa mtoto wake ameaga. Na yule mama ilifika wakati mmoja anachukua mtoto wa mama mwingine ambaye alikuwa ameenda kuoga, na unaona mpaka anataka kumnyonyesha. Kwa sababu alikuwa amejitayarisha kabisa atapata mtoto. Hata kuna mama tulienda sote kuoga, maana pale ambapo nilipatia huyo mtoto ni mahali ambapo wamama wamechangamana. Wakati tulirudi tulipata amechukua mtoto mmoja na amemshika vizuri. Inaweza endelea zaidi ya hayo yote, ukute hata huyo mama pengine ameingiwa na roho nyingine na angependa hata kumchukua huyo mtoto. Kwa sababu gani? Maana wamewekwa wote pamoja. Na Bwana Spika, nataka nikuambia kwamba kuna kitu ambacho mama mzazi tunapenda kama kuona tumepata watoto ili mtu abadilishwe jina kutoka fulani hadi fulani. Pengine huyu mtoto hata ni mtoto wa kwanza, na huyu mama amepata huyo mtoto na mtoto ameenda. Yeye hata pengine hata kupata mtoto wa pili inakuwa ni shida, maana anafikiri tu vile ambavyo atapata huyo mtoto na aende. Hawa wamama naomba tu waweze kuwa kwa chumba tofauti kabisa, ili wakati wanakaa wote hawa wamama ambao wana suffer the same, wanakaa wakiwekana moyo, wakiongea, wakipeana moral, na wakisema ya kwamba next time watapata mtoto. Nataka niseme hivi Bwana Spika, hata kama tutapitisha hivyo kwa hii bunge, maana naomba tu tupitishe, hakuna mambo ya budget itakuwako, kwa sababu already kuna vyumba ambazo ziko. Ni chumba kimoja tu kitawekwa kando, wale ambao wako na watoto ambao wako hai wawekwe hapo, na wale ambao watoto wao wamefariki wawekwe pahali ambapo ni pamoja. Juzi wiki mbili zilipita nilienda hapo kwetu Bahati District Hospital, na palikuwa na msichana fulani alikuwa amepata mtoto. Yule mtoto alikuwa ameaga, na kwetu hatuna mahali ambapo ni tipa kuhifadhi miili hiyo. So yule mtoto aliwekwa pahali ili watu wao wakuje wamchukue waende wampumzishe. Wakati tu niliingia, maana kuna mtu aliniambia kuhusu huyu mama, nikaenda kumuona. Wakati aliniona alikuja na machozi mengi sana na akanikumbatia. Akalia sana. Na alilia akinipeleka mahali ambapo huyo mtoto amelazwa. Wakati nilimwambia tuende kwa room ambayo ako, alinipeleka kwa room ile ambayo wazazi wengine, wale wamama wako na watoto wameketi. Wakati anakaa hapo anaona huyo mama akinyonyesha. Wakati amekaa hapo anasikia huyo mtoto akilia. Hata mimi na wamama ambao tuko hapa ambao ni wazazi, in our psychology, ukisikia mtoto analia, matiti yanaanza kutoa maziwa. Kwa hivyo huyu mama hata kosa kabisa kuwa na mawazo machafu kuhusu hawa mama wengine ambao wako na watoto. So mimi naomba hii bunge letu la kaunti ya Nakuru tusihi county government yetu waweze kwa heshima kubwa hawa wamama wawekwe kando kabisa, ili waweze kukaa wakiweza kungojea siku zao za kuenda nyumbani. Yule mama ambaye amepata mtoto na njia ya CS, tunajua kwamba hawezi toka haraka kama huyu mwenye amejifungua vizuri. Yule ambaye amejifungua vizuri pengine atajifungua leo na kesho aende nyumbani. Lakini huyu mwingine atabaki huko akingojea kidonda kiweze kupona. Na Bwana Spika, pia nataka hii nyumba ijue ya kwamba hata wakati ambapo huyo mama ataenda nyumbani na anajua ya kwamba amemwacha mtoto wake, amempumzisha, hayo mawazo huwa yanakuja kwa mtu. Hata akikutana na mtoto ambaye ni warika na huyo mtoto wake, bado anakumbuka angekuwa na mtoto warika hiyo. Lakini kama angewekwa kando, apewe maneno matamu, kuwaletewe watu ambao wanaweza kuwa counsel na kuwaonyesha ya kwamba huo sio mwisho na kwamba watoto bado Mungu atawapea, ingekuwa ni afadhali sana. Kwa hivyo naomba wenzangu, ili tuweze kuondoa hayo mawazo kwa hawa wamama, na tuweze kuona ya kwamba hawa wamama wameangaliwa vizuri, na tuweze kuona ya kwamba hata sisi si ati we are less na hawa ambao watoto wao wako hivyo, chochote kinaweza kutokea kwetu. Tuweze kuwafikiria hawa na njia nyingine ambayo watawekwa kwa kanyumba kao, waweze kushauriwa na kuweza kutiwa moyo. Bwana Spika, napenda nimuite Mheshimiwa Virginia aweze kusupport motion wetu ili tuweze kuendelea. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. The member for Hellsgate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm Virginia Wamaitha, member of County Assembly for Hellsgate Ward. I like to second the motion and also to give my contribution on the motion which has been brought on the floor of the House by Mheshimiwa Grace Mwathi. Mr. Speaker, I think the motion is timely because this is something which has been happening to ladies and women who give birth and maybe the child is stillborn or dies immediately after birth. Sometimes the mothers go through a very hard time trying to come to terms that the child is gone. And especially if it's a firstborn child, the mother kind of never recovers. She keeps on remembering how the child died, how the child could have grown. But as Mheshimiwa has suggested, if these people are given like a lot of counseling after the child has passed on, it could be of great help to them. It will also be prudent, the way she's putting it, that at least in every maternity ward we have some kind of a cubicle where the mothers can be going for counseling. And also, it be that the county government of Nakuru Department of Health, in all our hospitals, we put it that if a bereaved mother is not discharged until like after 5 days, so that she can have at least come to terms that the child is gone. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second and also support and urge the House to support this, because it's not only the mother who will be going through such a time, also the father. And I think the father should also be included in the counseling sessions so that both of them can now be able to move on with life and know there is always a next time, God willing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Thank you. The motion is now, therefore, this House urges the county government through the Department of Health Services to come up with modalities for separating bereaved mothers from mothers of successful births, while offering them psychosocial support to aid in their recovery. The motion is open for debate.
A member for Shabab.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion, where, Mr. Speaker, when you go to our hospitals, you'll find that the successful mothers who've had their kids and those who are bereaved are put in one place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the state of mind of the patient, the mother who lost a kid, is not normal at that time, Mr. Speaker. So I'll support this motion by saying that they should be given time to grieve, and also I also want to request that maybe you do an amendment to the motion. I support the motion with an amendment that they should not be kept in the hospital, Mr. Speaker. It is either all the fees that they are supposed to pay for childbirth at the hospital be waived, and they be given time to go home and grieve at home, and maybe go for counseling in the nearest clinics within the area, the jurisdiction that they come from. So I rise to support with amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The member for Shabab. The member for Viwandani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also raise to support the motion and also to support with some amendment to add something that it is good when we separate these mothers, the counselors be available for them to take them through. And also, as Honorable Virginia has said, we include both mother and the father, because surely it is not, no one can be normal when you lost a child whom you had carried for 9 months with difficulties and many challenges. And also, in my amendment, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the county government of Nakuru through the Department of Health to include non-milk to the mothers who delivers more than 1 kid, because it is costly nowadays, and the father cannot go and want to get some money to buy the non-milk. So the amendment should be that we support for the separation, and also we include the provision of the non-milk for the mothers who deliver more than 1 kid. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, the member for the Honorable Ivrin, and the member for Eburu Baruch, in that order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the chance you have given me. I would like to support the motion. I, being a young mother, I would really like to support whatever the motion our elder mother, who is also MCA for Bahati, has brought. It is really touching to find a mother who has given birth, very healthy baby, who is crying, and a mother who has lost a baby. It is really traumatizing, and we would really like to support that both mothers may be separated. As far as we are talking about a mother who has lost a baby, the mother who has a baby also is affected in one way or another, because as a mother, you see your colleague or your fellow mother in grief. It also affects, and it may affect psychologically. So I would really like we support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support, and I wish to start by thanking Honorable Grace for bringing the motion. As we implement this, I would wish also for the county government, the Department of Health, to come up with a policy on how to do this, for it not to seem also like a sentence. You see, there are times where widows who are separated with the others, it shouldn't seem like a sentence, to avoid stigmatization, solitudeness, and maybe for it to look like discrimination. A policy whereby before they are separated, it's either on consent, and also they are cancelled right before, because we understand what we are trying to avoid, but we also to avoid creating a different problem when you are solving one. But I support and wish for it to be implemented as soon as possible.
Thank you. The member for Lakeview.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost is to say my gratitude to Honorable Mwathi Grace for this noble motion that she's brought within this assembly. And more so, Mr. Speaker, speaking of the pain that mothers, young mothers, all mothers, ladies go through during the process of childbirth. There are times they lose the kids. Mr. Speaker, in my career when I was a student, I faced so much of hurting moments when you see the joy in a mother who has come to the hospital, and as a doctor you wait. And then I was a student doctor, and we are all excited to see that a mother has come, has bought a whole shopping of clothes and so many other things, are waiting to carry a baby. When you try all the best that you can, the child is stillbirth. And you find that most of them are so much traumatized in the hospitals that most of them do not even carry any of the things that they had brought to the hospital back. they just leave them there, or they give a kid who maybe is seated just the next bed or lying the next bed. They walk home crying, Mr. Speaker. I've seen most of them, Mr. Speaker, even after they have left hospital, coming back to the hospital after 2 days, that they have now come back to pick the things that they left in the beds, Mr. Speaker. And I feel the grief for such people, Mr. Speaker, because it is not easy when you lose someone who you've really grown and attached to. Mr. Speaker, sometimes you look at the process of grief of death, and you wonder how some people manage process of grief, and ladies at times are left on their own, and more so in the hospitals. You'll find that, Mr. Speaker, the visiting hours for these people is normal hours. You say that, for instance, the visitations in most hospitals happen between 12 in the day to 2 p.m. From there, that lady is supposed to lie there, and most of them have gone through either cesarean section, Mr. Speaker, and they are left there, no one can see them. They are both in the pain of C-section, Mr. Speaker, and at the same time, in the pain of losing their loved one, though young. That even the husband of such a lady cannot come and stay there past the time that visitations is there. You'll meet most of them. As a young doctor, I met most of them shedding their tears on the corridors. And I just imagine of that lady who lost the kid and is that just there on the bed with no one to talk to. Because as night falls, Mr. Speaker, what happens in most hospitals is that more and more kids come to life, Mr. Speaker. And as such, the noise is the noise from the other babies, those being born immediately, and those that had been born before, maybe with some difficulties. You find it become traumatizing to these ladies. When you're doing your rounds in the night, and this can be attested by some of the people, or most of the clinicians, nurses, and doctors, when you're doing rounds within the night, you'll find that these ladies don't even sleep. They're just awake to a point whereby they just want you to place a television station on and to have the noise. There are other ladies who do not want to get the noise because it will awaken the other babies that are there. It is noble that the county government of Nakuru think of such, Mr. Speaker. I know some of us have gone through some of these experiences. Mr. Speaker, at one point I lost a kid just 4 months. And I remember that time you called me and I told you that I'm going through some pain because it's not me who was carrying the kid, Mr. Speaker. But I looked at my wife and I felt the bitterness that she was going through. And it is so hurting, Mr. Speaker, that even with the support that I would give her, I just wondered of the other persons who just are in the hospital without any support. So, Mr. Speaker, it is emotional, it's emotive, and for Honorable Mwathi to come up with such a motion, I think this motion deserves all the attention from the county, and not just county, Mr. Speaker, that such things will be set up even in private hospitals. Because, Mr. Speaker, trauma and depression that comes with this is so much hurting that you're not able even to concentrate on things that you do. Mr. Speaker, if we don't do such things, if you don't set policies and you don't bring such motions within the assembly that address the needs of these people, I think we shall be doing a disservice to humankind and a disservice to God. So I will just encourage such motions or such caliber to come up within the assembly. And we don't just speak of such, Mr. Speaker. Could we come up with budgetary allocation for such cases so that we have a trauma center, because it's not just that process of that. Mr. Speaker, if you go to hospitals and it is hurting when you have been there, and you look at even the people who have been involved in accidents, and someone is just there, like I remember one time, Mr. Speaker, in Thika Level 5, I had in Cube 8, the male ward, a gentleman was involved in an accident, and he was amputated both legs, Mr. Speaker. And waking up, you see people, the next bed, they're just, okay, you have to send them, go and bring me this and that. They die of pain within, they die of pain within, Mr. Speaker. And as such, Mr. Speaker, I think we ought to be emphatic to these people. We need to know that anyone within here, whether you are male or female, you can go through such a process. And also would want to ask gentlemen in Nakuru, all of you, just be supportive of your ladies during the pregnancy time, and take care of them both before and after. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just to ask the good gentlemen within Nakuru County and in the country, in Africa and in the world, just to think of family and take care of your ladies when they are pregnant, despite everything, because the lady bears two pains of losing and also the process itself, Mr. Speaker, because what is inside must come out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish to support that motion. Thank you.
The mover. That is the mover of the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They might mistake me with the other mover. Thank you for elaborating well. Thank you very much, my fellow colleagues, members of this assembly, for the support that you've given me and the motion that is before us, because we have seen even ladies get out of their senses because of these losses, and they end up in Ward 8 in various hospitals. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mheshimiwa Mwathi has talked about the waiver to these moms, and it is a very good idea, because sometimes some of them they are not married. They just got the pregnancy that they call accident, although I don't think there is an accident pregnancy, and they are kept in hospital without the waiver, now that even the Linda Mama is not there. And for them getting the waiver, it will be a very good plus for the hospital and for us. And Mheshimiwa wa viwandani, Mheshimiwa Murai have said about the non-milk, which is becoming so expensive nowadays. If it is possible, the motion can be amended, but this time I think we are talking about the mothers who has lost their babies. But in every hospital, it is important and very prudent for the mothers to be catered for, the ones who have gotten 2 to 3 kids. We also saw another mother who got 5 kids last month, and the parents were stranded, they had nothing. So if they get help, it will be very, very prudent of them. I also want to echo Mheshimiwa Alex, the chair budget, who has said about even the private hospitals can also practice this, activity of saying that the mothers can be kept separately and be counseled well. He has also come with another thing that says about, he talked about the trauma centers. We know very well we have to have them so that those ladies, those mamas, and even the fathers can be counseled in the trauma centers before they go home. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is very unfortunate I had forgotten about the fathers, because a baby belongs to both the mother and the father. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Virginia. for minding about the fathers of these children who are also prepared. They have been preparing themselves for 9 months, supporting their wives, going with them for the outings, making some window shopping and making for some shopping for the baby who is expected. And all of a sudden, the baby is no more. The baby is not to be taken home because of one thing or the other. So, thank you very much, my colleagues, for supporting the motion. And I hope this motion can be implemented as soon as possible, because, Mr. Speaker, sir, our children, our women are suffering out there. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you go to these hospitals, now that the Linda Mama is not there, the other thing that you are getting is Mheshimiwa Kam. I've been remanded in this hospital because I don't have money to go home. I lost my child. I did this and that. So I wish this motion will be implemented so quickly for those women and the kids and the family members to benefit from what we are going to pass in this house. Thank you very much, members, and may God bless you.
Thank you. Two things that are coming out of this motion. One was the idea of waiving the bills. So the Honourable Member for Shabab follow up on that and develop a motion, a substantive motion, because now this one is touching on finance. And there could be other issues interconnected with the issues of finance and bills waiving. There was also the issue of milk provision, that's non-milk. Another nutritional support for that was the idea from the member from Viwandani. Develop that and incorporate the aspect of nutrition and see that you present a motion before this House. The other thing is now, even as you look at how to develop the two motions, it's good to say whether now is this going to be covered in all the levels of our healthcare, or whether it's going to start at the sub-county hospitals, the referral hospitals, or it's on all the levels. So it's good to have clarity on those. And then the last issue on this was the issue of policy. The issue about counseling and psychosocial support at times could be taken out of context, that at times people don't want to look at mental health and the need for psychosocial support. So others would say maybe it's that word that was talked, that they are not fine mentally. But this is for socio-psycho, for the support, which is very important, that point. So it is good to have a policy so that now it is not just about a bracket, sort of, but then the counseling and the support that will be given to these mothers who've lost their newborns would be very comprehensive, not just counseling has to be structured. Counseling is not counseling, it has to be structured. And so we would want to, the department together with the Committee on Health, to develop such a policy on the structure of the social, the psychosocial support to be offered to these mothers. And so I'm going to put it to question. that now therefore this House urges the county government through the Department of Health Services to come up with modalities for separating bereaved mothers from mothers of successful births, while offering them psychosocial support to aid in their recovery. As many who are of that opinion say aye. As many who are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the orders of the evening session.
There is the leader of majority party.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Notwithstanding the Standing Order 33, Section 1, I want to request this House to adjourn today afternoon until Tuesday next week at 9:30. Because, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have some very important consultative meetings to undertake between the County Assembly members and also the executive members. Honorable Speaker, you realize that of late we've actually been doing some consultative meetings with the executive on matters development. Last week, Mr. Speaker, sir, we also forced by circumstances to adjourn because we wanted to do some thorough consultative meeting. And we did so, and we were able to come up with some resolutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, going forward, we still feel that to achieve our oversight role and to ensure that we foster development within our county, we need to do more of such kind of consultative meetings. Mr. Speaker, sir, this Honorable House is quite aware that there was some promise that the bill of quantities would be developed by the executive and brought it to the Assembly for scrutiny. And we want to appreciate the effort that the executive members have done. They've done so, but not in fullness. And there is a feeling from the members that they need to do more and scrutinize this bill of quantities. Mr. Speaker, sir, on that, there is need to really do more consultation so that development projects can commence as soon as possible. You realize that the financial year is almost ending, and much of the projects, all the projects for this financial year, 2024-2025, have not commenced. And there is great fear, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in the near future, and especially now that we are going for public participation in April, members of the public will be asking several questions. Now that we were able to do the public participation and we prioritize the projects, and the year is now ending, and you are coming back again for public participation, and there are no projects, the previous projects have not started. Now, why should we do the next public participation? Those are some of the questions that will actually be lingering in the minds of most of the people. And these honorable members will not be having anything to tell the public. And they will actually be blamed for having not done the oversight role properly. The worst would even come from the side of the governor, because she would want to go launch the projects, and she'll be surprised that these projects have not started, which will actually be also a very great disservice to the office of the governor. So with this in mind, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to request this House to pass this motion that we adjourn so that we can do some follow-up on this. We also meet the members of the executive tomorrow in the afternoon so that we can know the way forward. In summary, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm just saying that we want to play our oversight role appropriately. We want to ensure that the money that we appropriated there before is put into use. We also want to ensure that, there is great achievement of development in our county. And doing that, we'll have ensured that the low and slow absorption rate of projects has actually been improved. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me ask Honorable Alex Mbogwa to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to second this motion. It is imperative, Mr. Speaker, that at times we stop and look back to the villages that we come from. Mr. Speaker, when you look at your village, it's either something is happening or not happening. And as such, Mr. Speaker, I know that the county government of Nakuru is trying what it can. Mine will just, as a second this, Mr. Speaker, is also to caution the national government to stop delaying monies that are supposed to come to the counties. Mr. Speaker, there is no way that we passed a budget last year in June 29th of last year. And to this date, Mr. Speaker, monies and more so development money is not coming to the counties. This will lead, Mr. Speaker, to us having rollover projects and so many contractors who will engage in works here might not be paid. It might not have been the problem of the county government of Nakuru, led by Her Excellency Susan Keheka. But, Mr. Speaker, we have the obligation of making things run quick so as to ensure that things run smoothly within the county. If at all, Mr. Speaker, there is something that this assembly can do through engagement and even members rushing to the ground and taking engineers to the site so that they can have proper BQs on site. I think, Mr. Speaker, such things are noble and welcome within this House, so as to have one government serving the people. Because each and every person here, apart from the oversight role that we have, we also have that concern that we see things working within Nakuru County, and not just Nakuru, all over the country. I've seen in Nairobi today, Mr. Speaker, members of County Assembly have also gone agitated in different offices so that they have service delivery to their people on the ground. Mine is to ask the people within the county government of Nakuru to hasten things and ensure
What is the order?
which order?
Oh, Mr. Speaker, sir, point of order. I think the honourable member was to second the motion, but you have started to debate on the motion.
So proceed. And
Mr. Speaker, I think different people have different ways of seconding a motion, because from the word go, how I've been seconding the motion, I first said I second the motion, and I went ahead to give my own attributions as to why I support the seconding of this motion. But, Mr. Speaker, because of the sake of time, I think you'll give me a chance when you open the motion so I can inject some knowledge to honorable members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I second the motion.
the motion is seconded. The motion is that this Honorable House is adjourned from today, this afternoon, to 11th, Tuesday next week at 9:30 a.m. The motion is open for debate. The Honourable Member for Ebru Baruch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support. Mr. Speaker, we only have 3 months left for this financial year to end. And unless we all put our hands on deck, we might end up with no development project on the ground. And now that this is a process that has already started, and part of what we are expecting tomorrow is feedback, and so it makes reasonable sense that we set aside that time to be able to follow up on the same. And the same answers that we are going to get, we are also under a lot of pressure from the people that we are representing, because they're wondering, since we did the last public participation, we have not been able to do much development on the ground. And we are also afraid because there is another public participation coming up. So if we get time to clarify those things, is good. That's why I support. Thank you.
Thank you. The member for Mosop, Honorable Alex. Then the member for Viwandani in that order, and then we're going to go on the other side.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for adding me this opportunity to contribute to this motion. The truth is, the idea is very noble, and it is helpful even to this great house. Mr. Speaker, as I raise to support, I would also want to remind the House that actually this is now the third time that we are postponing the plenary in the House. This is the third time. Last week we had the same because of this important venture. The other week we also had. And tomorrow again we will not be sitting as a House for this very noble cause. As we support Mr. Speaker, maybe we would want to request the leadership to reconsider, because even as we lose a whole day, we have a lot of committee meetings also to do that raises businesses of this House. We have many more other activities to do. So in the near future, this activity and our engagement with the executive can even be put on a Thursday, because it is not really pegged that it must be done on a Wednesday or when the House is actually sitting. So it's just a caution so that we can all remember that we also have other jurisdiction and other duties to the people whom we represent through the Assembly in terms of motions and other plannings for the House. So in the near future, we would request that let us reconsider another day. I know it's good. It is for our convenience when we think it is a Wednesday where we are coming to the Assembly, and we would want to treat that one equally in a very special way. So that it's not just a by the way, because every time when you put it either on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, we are making it appear as a by the way, that because you are still to come to the Assembly. So as I support on this one, because it's now becoming a precedent that like every Wednesday we have to sit with the executive. Maybe even when we meet tomorrow again, there will be some other issues that we may not agree, or we may give these people, and then again we plan for Wednesday next week again. We are losing quite a number of days for this Assembly. So I support for this one, Mr. Speaker, and I the leadership in the near future for them to reconsider if we can have this executive engagement on a day outside the plenary sittings, so that it can allow us to perform our other mandates. Mr. Speaker, I raise to support. Thank you.
Thank you. The member for Wandani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to echo the statement from the Honorable Alex Ragat that it is not a must that we be meeting with this executive arm of government during our normal sitting days in this House, because also it is delaying us from performing our duties here. last week, Honorable Speaker, I'm sure that, and you are well remembering, that you committed to our committee 24 reports. If in a day that I'm supposed to sit in a committee that is dealing with these reports, I'm now sitting to deal with other issues that are just not by coincidence. It's by default that these members are delaying to correct BQs, to advertise the jobs. Then they are doing my work here. It is not healthy, and I want to urge the leadership to take another U-turn and find another appropriate day, even if it's on Monday or on a Thursday, so that we can also have a report to bring to this House. We cannot only be coming here, Mr. Speaker, just to receive reports and then we shelve them somewhere because of executive. They must have the goodwill to work for this government of Nakuru. It is not by choice, it's a must, they have to work, and we shall not be reminding them of what to do. They all took oath of office, knowing and promising, and saying that they will do. We must not remind them in every time. So I want us to stick to our rhyme as a House, and we let these people know that we are here and we should not be looking for them. They should be looking for us here, because that is the way to go. So even if I support, we must have a new turn in another day.
Thank you. The member for Ronda and then the member for Nakuru East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion and to urge the House that we are not trading on the right foot, Mr. Speaker, because you can't believe that, Mr. Speaker, some of the ministers, some of the CEC last time, they were talking about fuel for the cars and all these things, giving excuses that we cannot be able even to apprehend them. I think we have a big problem with the executive, because if they, for 8 months now, they cannot be able even to make the BQs, I think we need to do something as a House. It's a time for us to rise up to our standard, to rise up to our what we were called to do, and to see if, like now, tomorrow we are going to suspend our sitting because of some issues that are concerning some people who sit at the office. They are running up and down in this county. Some of the CECs, they just know how to shake what their mother gave them. They know nothing else. If you ask them about the sport, nothing that can be able even to elaborate.
What is it, the honorable member for Mosopa?
The senior member, Mr. Speaker, has used some hidden words, which some of us did not understand. And this being a house of understanding, so that we can all be in the same page, maybe the senior member should explain to us, what is this that their mother gave them and they are shaking? Is it a banana, or what is it, Mr. Speaker? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Ronda.
Mr. Speaker, I meant maybe shaking of hand, shaking of head. You can shake anything, Mr. Speaker. I didn't. So what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, these members of the county, the CEC should be serious. I think some of them, they don't know what they came to do in this county. And Mr. Speaker, the things are very serious. And for the members, let us know this. If the fire won't burn into your area, it will burn to your neighbor. And if it is burning to your neighbor, it will caught up with you. And so I'm very furious this evening to hear that we are suspending a sitting, which is online and all these things, because of some people who are not working and are not doing what they are supposed to do. I think we need to remove our whip and to whip. Just as we were told last week that all of us, we are given talents. Some are given 5, some are given 2, and the other was given 1. I think the one who was given 1 and went and buried it, Jesus said about this person, that is an evil person. He deserves not to be in the house. I think some of them, that's what we need to do. And if we are not serious, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, this house, we shall be seeing it while we are out there. Tutapita kwa ile barabara and trying to shake out, maybe to try and remember how this house was. And remember, when you are out of this house on 2027, you are a stranger to this house. So let us do what we are supposed to do, Mr. Speaker, but let it be the last time that we are bringing the executive to this place to make them understand that 7 months down the line, they were supposed to do the PQs to present them for procurement. And if you remember, Mr. Speaker, the CEC finance, I was so much mad with him. The way he just go round and roam here like a bee, trying to protect the queen, trying to protect the budget to be passed. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you. The member for Nakuru East.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for this chance. I stand to support this motion, and as I support this motion, I want to say that governance is a collective responsibility, whereby us, as member of this honorable house, we have our duty also to partake. And one of our duty is to do the oversight, and I think we cannot run from that responsibility. And that is why I think, out of the wisdom from our ML, that's why the majority leader, that's why we are having this consultative engagement, so that we can unlock the stalemate that is there. Mr. Speaker, sir, outside there, we have contractors and suppliers who have done business with this county assembly, and they are crying, and they are our Anjikos out there. And that is why, you know, outside there, Mr. Speaker, sir, Wanjiko knows that they elected a government. And when I say Wanjiko,
for Viwandani, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, I want the honorable member for Nakuru East to elaborate. Who are those contractors and suppliers who have done business with county assembly, whether it is county assembly or the county government of Nakuru?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say that, let me say, the county government of Nakuru, which has the county assembly also. You know, the county government has 2 arms. There is the assembly and also the county executive. But for the interest of your question, I want to say the county government. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is our responsibility as members of this house to hold the executive to account. And that is why I think the majority leader, last time we asked for 3 days, and I think you've asked for leave from the house, because you are going to have a consultative meeting for 3 days from tomorrow up to Friday, because this thing, we have a lot of issues that we need to discuss. And Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say, it has been echoed here that some of the committees, they don't do their work during that time. This is a consultative meeting whereby we are meeting all the CECs and COs. I want to say on this floor, let no committee be victimized not to have attended their meeting, because we are having a consultative meeting and us. So every committee is represented in that meeting, and it is perceived that that committee have sat in that day. So I want direction to come from you, Mr. Speaker, sir, because it has been disadvantageous to some of the members, whereby when we have this consultative meeting, it deemed that the committee did not sit. But we had our CC there, the CEO was there, so it will be better if you get a direction from you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I support.
The Leader of Majority Party, do you want to?
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for that session. I want to really appreciate the contributions from the members and put it very clear that as we appropriate the money, because that one is actually our main, one of our roles here in the Assembly, we also need to play some oversight role to ensure that that money is put into use. And for that reason, therefore, it will be very necessary to ensure that the process has actually taken off. And as such, we will also be a happy lot when we see that the money is actually doing the projects back there in our wards. Noting the issue on timing, I think you'll have to bear with us because this process started last week and the process itself has been so rigorous. And I want to believe that if we are going to solve this issue now, in the near future, we will never come across a kind of an impediment that is going to delay our projects. So it is now, and then we shall have put things in order for the future. As for the members, I also want to request them to go to the department, the budget department, so that they can also be able to pick their projects that they had that they appropriated the money for, and then use it as a checklist to ensure that the bill of quantities by the departments have actually been prepared accordingly. That will be part of the exercise that we are going to do tomorrow. Others, Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you.
Thank you. I now want to respond to the member for Nakuru East. It is good to say that tomorrow will be a day when committees sitting, do their work, and so you put it very clearly that it will be a working day. So I do not want to engage on that further. Already you gave a direction. Now I want to put it to question because there was a motion before this House. And no.
Maybe point of information.
On the same?
On the same.
Now already the mover...
No, it's just a clarification, Mr. Speaker. I think it's not bound by law. Mr. Speaker, thank you, first of all, for allowing that. I was consulting here with Honorable Geru, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this one is not, we are not requesting. It should be there. And from what I have heard of the 3 days, Mr. Speaker, it has never happened. 3 days has never been anywhere. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as maybe the leader of majority, maybe he does, he can rectify that to 5. There has never been 3. Nowhere. When you are assisting a government, you don't go by 3. Even in Addis Ababa, there were not 3 days. So, Mr. Speaker, can the majority leader maybe in his consultative, because it is a working day, and we have been here with those people since then, can it be the way we did budget the 5-day outing?
So that is that will be the work of the Hansard, and I know the members are able to hours. This House adjourns today, Tuesday, 4th, to Tuesday 11th next week at 9:30 to allow members, the honorable members, to have a consultative meeting with the executive on Wednesday 5th, that is tomorrow. As many who are of that opinion say aye. As many who are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the orders of the afternoon session.
Honorable members, all arise. We all arise, all arise. This House is adjourned from today to Tuesday next week, that is 11th next week, at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.